888-213-4338. 888-213-4338. And help us win this battle.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
You know, Ron Paul grills Ben Bernanke, and Paul's sending out Geithner somewhat, but he's so gentlemanly, he doesn't really nail him like some of us would like. There's an independent congressman, we're going to play this clip coming up at the start of the next hour, who absolutely savages him and says, where's the money? Why won't you say where the trillions went? And Bernanke will not say. That's some of those clips coming up in the next hour. Then we've got a doctor coming on, a medical doctor, about how vaccines over and over again end up causing the plagues they're supposedly meant to treat. This is on record, because that dovetails with a story that Paul Watson wrote. It's up on prisonplanet.com. Accidentally contamination of vaccine with live avian flu virus, virtually impossible. And it's all over the German, it's all over the Czech news, it's all over the Canadian news, Canadian Free Press, the Toronto Sun. Baxter product contained live flu virus. Had nothing to do with the regular flu vaccine with a spectrum of different viruses being prepared at different labs in Europe from the flu virus stock sent by the U.S. company. We've got it up on screen right now. We're live at prisonplanet.tv. And so, number one, it shouldn't have been mailed out to all these firms. Then they gave them instructions to mix it without telling them what it was with the other spectrum of regular flu viruses that are airborne and highly contagious with the deadly. But it's hard to catch. But if you can catch it, it only lives a few seconds in the air. Regular flu can live like 30 minutes or longer. If it recombines with this, which is what it would normally do, either in the live batch being made or once it got in the human body, it would just be a devastating plague. Now, what's so scary about this is that they then radiate all of these and send them out to sub-labs that are supposed to do tests. And a lab in Czechoslovakia, this one all over Europe, they give ferrets an injection of it, and if the ferret doesn't get sick, they know that the flu was prepared and isn't live, because they have a problem with it, not being damaged enough by the radiation to still be live flu, just the regular flu. But instead of the ferrets not getting sick like they were supposed to, or getting sick if it was regular flu vaccine and it hadn't been radiated right, they died. And so they tested what was in it and said, my God, this is the H5N1, the deadly bird flu. Again, hard to catch, but if you catch it, it kills people more than 60% of the time. Just deadly, deadly, deadly. So incredible accident after incredible accident after incredible accident. And a lot of scientists are quoted in the Czechoslovakian news, Czech Republic news, other papers saying, we think this could be a setup by the company to cause some outbreak, and then they are also developing separately an H5N1 vaccine, and this could be a money-making scam. It's not Alex Jones saying that, it's the news saying that. And Baxter's been involved before. We have links to that with Bayer that shipped out the live HIV and hepatitis in the Factor 8 blood product to millions. I mean, this is just off the charts insane. And, when I was talking to Marcus Williams about getting him on the show, he's a patriot, carries my books and films at his Nubian Bookstore, one of the most successful private, single-standing black bookstores in the country. And I got to know him because he sent us a Professor Griff interview from Public Enemy that he's done for many, many years. They're good friends. We're working on getting Professor Griff on the show as soon as his schedule allows. And I thought, why not just have Marcus Williams on? I said, what do you want to talk about, Marcus? And he said, well, when I come on, I want to talk some about Obama and, how we need a, Neil's told my producer this, a black voice criticizing him so they can't claim it's some race thing. But he said, really, I want you to talk about, and he recommended some guests I have on, about how through the vaccines and other systems, how they're poisoning us, how the UN's been caught adding hormones to tetanus shots in Africa and other places to sterilize women. That's on record, mainstream news. Nobel laureates have come out and said they're putting HIV in different hepatitis C vaccinations in Africa. They were caught doing that in New York, accidentally, having it in the hepatitis shots for gay men because they would have a lot of sexual partners, be a perfect vector to spread it in the late 70s, early 80s. And so here he is today, set up a week ago, right when this avian flu being mixed in with the regular vaccine news is breaking, and they're trying to find out where it was shipped, what was done. A week ago, this internally broke as companies were demanding to find out why this happened. The company was stonewalling. We're still trying to find out details right now. This is a very serious issue. We need to address this as serious because we know what these globalists are all about in eugenics. So, Marcus Williams, good to have you on with us, sir.
How you doing, Alex? Good to be with you.
Good. What do you think of this latest report? I mean, this is exactly what you brought up that you wanted to discuss a week ago on the show, was what you called meta-sin, as in a sin. Just quite interesting timing to have you on today.
Yeah, that's actually a book written by Dr. Scott Whitaker.
Yes.
Who I hope that you have on your show real soon. And he's been speaking out against the things as far as with the whole eugenics, vaccines, a lot of stuff that you cover on your show all the time. And I think it's going to be a real good interview to have on your show, hopefully real soon, to go more in detail with somebody who's a little bit more specialized into the whole vaccines, the whole medical field versus myself.
Yes, we're setting up Dr. Scott Whitaker. We're also setting up Professor Griff, thanks to you. Now, specifically, though, I mean, you have a bookstore, you've read these books, you've covered it, you've seen it. More and more it comes out. This has been done in Africa. Some countries in Africa, 40% have HIV. They do medical tests. These women have never even had sex in many cases. Even the BBC admits that somebody is basically giving them the HIV.
Right, and even go back with the whole Tuskegee syphilis experiment. I mean, it's been throughout long periods of times and years where we've seen the government and certain pharmaceutical companies doing experiments on the people through drugs, experimentations and stuff like that. That's been going on in Africa for a long period of time. So we've been seeing Obama increase the funding for Planned Parenthood and other HIV treatment, condoms and everything in Africa has been boosted up underneath his administration. So, but the main reason why I wanted to come on your show was that you called me because you saw my interview with Professor Griff, and I think that a lot of times the media, a lot of people are under the impression like the vast majority of black people are just sold on Barack Obama, which is very far from the truth. There's a large number of people in the African American community who do not support Obama. Even during the primaries, I mean, myself, I was a Ron Paul supporter. I was disappointed that he didn't go on the independent ticket or maybe go on the Constitution Party ticket. And so since he didn't run, I voted for Cynthia McKinney.
Yes.
But I think that a lot of people, though, I think just like when I heard you interview with Paul Craig Roberts, I think when you said that voted supported Obama. I just think that Obama's voting record and who financed his campaign was open to the public many, many months before the election. And I never, within the black community, let's say just outside of Illinois and Chicago, Barack Obama was a nobody. I never heard of Barack Obama until the 2004 Democratic Convention when he gave a speech, and there's a lot of people, talk about Obama giving this great speech, and then when I watched it, I really didn't see anything of substance. I saw a good act, but I didn't hear any substance. So, I checked the guy's voting record and looked at who financed his campaign, and I'm thinking that this is not somebody I think that the people should be endorsing. And so, after digging into his record on the Patriot Act, funding the war, refusing to investigate Bush on any war crimes, FISA, NAFTA. We saw during the primaries, the Democratic primaries, Barack Obama's economic advisor, one of them, Alan Goolsbee, who's a member of Skull and Bones, tell the, I think it was the Canadian consulate, that a lot of the rhetoric that Obama was saying about NAFTA during the Democratic Ohio primaries was just a bunch of talk and that he really didn't mean what he was saying. So I just think that, I think a lot of people, that they really have to get off of the whole American Idol personality-driven support of people, really look at more of the substance of people. And I think that too many times, especially within the African-American community, I think it happens in all communities where they don't really want to dig deep into the issues. And really
they get on a bandwagon. Things were bad under Bush. The economy's imploding. We want to believe that this is really a good guy and he's going to fix things. But he's even gone on the show with Stephanopoulos, the Sunday show, and now said, yeah, that was campaign rhetoric on NAFTA and GATT. And I mean, it's just an incredible betrayal. Do you think that the folks in Atlanta that you talk to, black or white, are they starting to break the spell, or are they still just as deep in that spell?
I think a large portion of them are still deep in that spell, but I think over time goes on that more and more of them are going to wake up and realize that Barack Obama was one of the biggest political frauds in recent memory, because with him adding more troops to Afghanistan, which was no secret prior to him being elected, but we still saw a lot of people within the so-called